Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Hedera and HBAR, so let's just dive in and let's start off with the overall price action. So we are still ranging here. Seems like we have kind of found a floor around 6 cents, which was the area that we were looking at anyways, if you actually look back in time. So I'm actually very excited that we have been ranging around that 6 cent zone and having this slight uptrend here. I'm still watching most of the market, still anticipating if Bitcoin is going to pull back or not. Still watching a few levels, which I did post in the free Discord. If you guys do want to join, there's a link down in the description below, as well as the comments below. But we've definitely been eyeing about, what is going to happen with Bitcoin next, because if we do see a significant pullback, then hey, it is another great buying opportunity for HBAR and other altcoins. Just over again. So with all of that in mind, I do want to take a quick look at the DeFi market. So I personally love buying DeFi tokens because they have done very well in the past. For an example, some of the bigger winners from 2021 were mainly DeFi tokens. For an example, Chainlink was a big winner of mine, the Graph as well, and this is even before I did YouTube as well. But a lot of these were very great choices. I think another one was SNX, which a lot of you probably already know about, Synthetics, and a few other ones, but those are like the main ones. And as we really look at this market, this is ripe for massive amounts of growth. Currently sitting at about $56 billion in market cap. I'm pretty sure we were sitting at like 250 billion or something like that, or maybe even more at the all-time highs. We definitely have been focused on DeFi growth and also what banks are doing with DeFi and institutions, etc. I think that DeFi is definitely going to be a big focus point going forward on a time for the retail sector to escape traditional finance, which I'll address in this video as well. But let's take a quick look at Pangolin Hedera. So we do see over here from Pangolin, Honeycomb is an open source collection of DeFi tools for dApp developers in all ecosystems, including Hedera. Integrate popular wallet swaps forums in minutes, not hours. The tools are written in React and 100% free to use forever. This is great. I personally love to see DeFi expand on these chains, and I think Hedera is one that we do have quite a bit of an offering, but I would love to see a lot more substance from the DeFi space on Hedera. Right now, currently, we still have great offerings. We have Stater, Saucer Swap, Pangolin as well, and a ton of other ones as well. But I'm just waiting to see more expansion within this market around DeFi for Hedera. And this is Pangolin, by the way. Very simple. I'm not signed in or anything like that, but you can kind of see the idea here. You can see the overall view on it. It's very similar to Uniswap, except it has a full-on different UI, and the UI is pretty nice. I think that this is one of those product offerings that is very interesting, to say the least. And it does have pretty much everything that you could think of around staking, in terms of staking, bridging, pools, and farms. All of that. This is a DeFi powerhouse of an offering on Hedera. And also, we could see exactly why they are choosing Hedera. We do see pioneering the future of Web3. Hedera is revolutionizing the Web3 landscape with its unique architecture and diverse use cases. Here are 4 key aspects that make Hedera the place for next-gen applications. And they do mention the high performance and versatility. They do also mention the unparalleled speed and scalability, leaderless ABFT hashgraph consensus, and also EVM compatibility and tooling. Developers can easily deploy smart contracts on Hedera's optimized EVM using familiar Web3 environments, libraries, and tooling. I do think that everything that we've seen from Hedera, Smart Contracts 2.0 was like a big one that we mentioned quite a bit in the past. That's what we were mainly waiting for back in 2021. And they've revolutionized the entire space around developments as well as offering within certain areas, and DeFi definitely is one of them. I think that the scalability, the speed, and also the cost is a huge focus point for DeFi applications, because right now I think that a lot of DeFi applications are limited because one of the largest I should say TVL networks in the space is Ethereum. Ethereum dominates the DeFi space. So if you think about it, there's probably a ton of use cases still out there trying to find a home that can boast a massive amount of transactions per second. It's just the fact that maybe they're not aware of Hedera, or maybe Hedera's just not, maybe they're not looking into Hedera. Maybe they're avoiding Hedera. We don't know, right? But I do think that there's a ton of DeFi applications out there still left to be developed, and there's a ton of opportunities as well in terms of DeFi. But we do see over here from Cointelegraph, we do see crypto funding shifts from CeFi to DeFi after major collapses, finance redefined. And this goes back 3 weeks ago when we started to see the banks collapse. And yeah, I think that honestly, if we look at what's happening around the traditional world of finance, I think DeFi could have a great opportunity for the retail sector to escape banks. And I really do think that, bank runs, bank collapses, all of that, it is definitely a warning sign of what's more to come, because I do think that banks are not done collapsing. I think that we're going to start to see a lot more go belly up. And when we do see that, I think that there's going to be such a shift towards crypto. And I said it's like one of the most bullish narratives, around crypto, because in the longest time, for Bitcoin, we've never really experienced a 2008 like scenario where we could see how resilient Bitcoin would be. We really only have March of 2020 to compare it to, and we all know that it didn't hold up all that well initially, but over time, within that year, we've seen it bounce back fairly strong and actually profit for anybody who was buying the dip during March of 2020. I do think that crypto could be a haven for most of the retail sector to kind of move from CeFi and traditional finance and really kind of reap the benefits in terms of like API staking and stuff like that. In the US, we know that the SEC is actually targeting DeFi applications as well as staking as a service, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, but it is what it is. Now, let's take a quick look at TVL. So total value locked right now within DeFi is sitting at about $84.7 billion. And like I said, if you actually look into this, most of this TVL is coming from, so it's actually changed a little bit, but we see a lot of the offering here from like Lido, Avi, and stuff like that. Now, obviously, this is not chains. When you go over to the chains, you could see that Ethereum is the number one with about $56.4 billion worth of TVL. It's an absolute massive amount of value locked. Then coming in second is BSC with about almost 3 billion, Tron with about 5.4 billion, Arbitrum with about 3.31 billion, and then so forth and so on. It's kind of crazy that Solana still has almost $1 billion worth of TVL, and also Phantom. Phantom is pretty much killing it with $565 million worth of TVL. And this is one that I know a lot of people in the Hedera community will talk nonsense on, because Phantom was one of those projects that basically copied the code for Hedera. Now, I'm not going to go in depth on that. We actually already talked about it back in 2021. But if we scroll down, we could see Hedera down here at number 36. It did drop down a little bit in TVL. I know that we were sitting at around roughly like $150 million in TVL, which we were right above ADA. And so far, ADA has been sitting at about $160 million in TVL, which we were really above that at some point in time. But since then, we've fallen down. I think that mainly it was due to the hack that happened, or the exploit, if you will, that happened back in February. We also seen the token unlock, and I think that a lot of people kind of just took their money and, shorted HBAR by just trading it, if you will. I shouldn't say shorting, but they sold it and then they rebought lower, which is a classic game of, just trading in the space. But we are starting to see the TVL bouncing back, finding a floor, which I like to see. And again, almost all of the offering here is coming from the top three, which I've talked about. Pangolin. What about Stater and Sausage Swap? These are two incredible offerings on Hedera, and I'm very excited about this. If you go over to the Hedera Stater application, here you guys have it. This is very, very simple, very, very clean. I personally love to see this. Again, when you look at what's happening on Hedera from the DeFi space alone, the offering is very high quality. And again, a lot of the offerings on Hedera has been extremely high quality outside of DeFi as well. So it would surprise me if it wasn't. And then Saucer Swap, this has been a big one that we've talked about in the past. Love Saucer Swap. We did an AMA with them last summer. This has been a project that I've closely been watching, because I'm very excited for Saucer Swap to be extremely successful in this space. And so far, they have been with over $23.5 million in TVL, which is very exciting. But yeah, there's a lot of offerings here. And again, I love the quality. I love the design work of some of these offerings. And Saucer Swap, probably, I would say Saucer Swap has some of the best, if not it is the best UI and graphics that I've seen around DeFi offerings. And like I said, they don't, like, when we're talking about Hedera, they do not mess around. Like, a lot of the use cases that are being built out and a lot of the applications that are being built out, all of them are extremely high quality and very vast. Now, taking a quick look at decentralized finance, when you actually go and look at Hedera's website around DeFi, you can see some of the big areas that they focus on with DeFi, and they actually see a huge opportunity for DeFi. Mainly, we do see decipher in the world of DeFi derivatives. This is a huge one. Derivatives are worth hundreds of trillions of dollars. Some people actually put derivatives sitting at about like $2.4 quadrillion. Again, not a lot of people know the true value. I know that the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, they were actually looking at derivatives and saying that it was around $600 million. Pretty substantial. Then we do see DeFi insurance, the next generation of insurance. Then we do see decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, understanding DeFi prediction markets, guide to DeFi yield farming, and then they just kind of talk more a little bit about this down here. But there's a lot of DeFi offering that could revolutionize and ultimately disrupt a lot of markets, and I'm here for it. I think that it's going to be very exciting to see this. And there was also another article that got posted on Hedera, which is the rise of DeFi lending and how to get involved. And we do see since 2020, decentralized finance has seen a massive increase in use. Over the past 2 years, Dune Analytics reports a growth to around 4 million users in DeFi applications, such as DeFi lending. That's nearly 40 times larger than the 2020 user poll. And again, when we look at this, I do think that this is going to continue to grow, and there's a lot of catalysts for it, especially around the world of traditional finance, also APY. You know, people want to take advantage of that APY. If you actually looked over at Stater, you could see that you can get up to 3,600% plus in yields. Obviously, I don't think that that's sustainable, but there is a lot of great API offerings like 14.72% and 47.78%. I mean, when you look at the offerings here compared to like traditional banks and the traditional world, like, you're not seeing this at any sort of major bank. And here you guys have Pangolin. You could earn up to 3,600% on HBAR, HBARX, which is pretty substantial. Now, like I said, I doubt that that's going to be sustainable. As soon as a lot of people start to come over and basically stake their, this is HBAR with HBARX, that's going to drop drastically in percentage. But hey, you can take advantage of this and earn quite a bit. Now, again, staking, there's always a major risk, but the overall APY here that is being offered is about 9.3%, which again is beating any traditional bank. And it's also even beating inflation, or I should say nearly it's beating inflation, because I think that inflation is extremely manipulated in terms of the number that we're actually seeing. But we will see a lot of these major markets being disrupted by DeFi, and I do think that Hedera is becoming a major giant around the DeFi space, and they will dominate the DeFi space going forward on in time because of the efficiencies tied to it, like Pangolin even did outline here. I think a lot of this is allowing Hedera's potential and power to really be realized in around DeFi. And DeFi, it's a great area of focus to really kind of show its power when comparing it to like Ethereum or any other major network out there. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. So it's up to you all. Have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.